Emily and I had spent 3 wonderful years together. Years filled with laughter, love, and an unshakable belief that we were meant for each other. From the very first moment I met her, I knew she was special, an intelligent, compassionate, and breathtakingly beautiful woman who made every day feel like a dream. When I finally proposed, the way her face lit up with sheer joy made me feel like the luckiest man alive. It was as if every worry, every doubt, every fear I had ever known disappeared in that instant. She said yes without hesitation, and in that moment, I thought our future was set in stone. The months that followed were a whirlwind of wedding preparations. Together we meticulously planned every detail, choosing the perfect venue, selecting the most exquisite flowers, curating a guest list filled with the people we loved most. Every decision felt like a step closer to our forever. I believed we were on the same page, equally eager to begin this new chapter of our lives. But then, just 1 week before the wedding, everything changed in a way I could never have imagined. It was a quiet evening at home, a night like any other. We sat together on the couch, going over the final details of the guest list, when Emily set her pen down and looked at me with an expression I couldn't quite decipher. Her fingers fidgeted with the hem of her sweater, and she took a deep breath, as though gathering the courage to say something difficult. "There's something I need to ask you," she said softly. I smiled, thinking she was about to bring up some minor detail about the wedding, perhaps a last-minute change to the seating arrangement or a question about the catering. "Of course. What is it?" I asked, expecting something trivial. But instead of a simple request, Emily hesitated. She bit her lip, her eyes searching mine as though trying to gauge my reaction before she even spoke. And then, with quiet determination, she said the words that shattered everything. "I need one last night with him." At first, her words didn't register. My mind struggled to process them like a puzzle piece that refused to fit. "With who?" I asked, frowning in confusion. She looked away for a moment, and when she finally met my gaze again, I saw it. The resolve, the certainty in her eyes. Daniel. The name hit me like a punch to the gut. Daniel, her ex-boyfriend, the man she had been with for 5 years before we got together. The one I had never worried about because she had assured me, time and time again, that their story was over. I had believed her. I had trusted her. And now, just days before we were supposed to vow our lives to each other, she was asking me for permission to go back to him, if only for one night. A hollow laugh escaped me, my mind refusing to accept this as reality. "You're messing with me, right?" She shook her head. "I'm serious." A cold, sickening feeling spread through my chest, making it hard to breathe. "Emily, you're asking me to let you sleep with another man a week before our wedding?" She flinched at the bluntness of my words but didn't deny them. "It's not about that," she insisted. "It's about closure. Daniel was such a huge part of my life and I need to be sure. I need to know for certain that I'm ready to leave that chapter behind." The air in the room thickened, heavy with the weight of her words. I wanted to be angry, to shout, to demand how she could possibly think this was okay. But all I felt was numb. I sat there, staring at the woman I thought I knew, the woman I had planned to spend forever with, and in that silence, everything became painfully clear. If she truly loved me, if she was truly ready to spend her life with me, she wouldn't need one last night with him. There wouldn't be any doubt in her mind. Finally, I exhaled slowly and forced myself to nod. "Okay." Her eyes widened in surprise. "You mean it? If that's what you need," I said simply. Relief washed over her face. "Thank you for understanding. I promise after this it'll be just us. I just need to do this." I nodded again, but inside I already knew. There would be no wedding. No us. Not after this. That night while she was with him I packed my things. I moved silently through the apartment we had shared, collecting my clothes, my books, every part of my life that didn't belong to her. When I was finished, I placed the engagement ring on the kitchen counter, along with a single note that held only one sentence. "If you need one last night with him, you're not ready for a lifetime with me." And then, without a second glance, I walked out the door. The next morning my phone was flooded with missed calls and frantic messages. Emily had called multiple times, her texts growing increasingly desperate. First they were confused, asking where I was. Then they turned into apologies. She told me she had made a mistake. That being with Daniel had only proven to her that I was the one she truly wanted. That it hadn't meant anything. But it had meant something to me. It had meant that she wasn't truly mine. That she was still holding on to a past that had no place in our future. It had meant that I had almost made the biggest mistake of my life by marrying someone who wasn't ready to let go of someone else. Friends and family reached out, some siding with her, others telling me I had done the right thing. But in the end, none of their opinions mattered. The only thing that mattered was that I had walked away before it was too late. I never responded to her messages. I didn't go back for the wedding that never happened. And though it hurt, I had no regrets. Because in that moment, I had learned something invaluable. Love isn't about settling for someone who isn't sure about you. It's about finding someone who never has to ask for one last night with someone else.